You're late. I thought we had a deal.
We do have a deal. Meet here every day at Sunset Cannons.
Promise?
I promise.
A boy makes his little brother a promise. Every single day when the Sunset Cannon fires, they'll meet and practice baseball for 1 hour. No excuses, no exceptions, never be late. And that promise is going to hold for 5 years, even after one of them is dead. This is Charlie St. Cloud. It opens on a rowing race with Charlie and his brother Sam surging ahead of the pack and taking the win. Afterward, a rival named Connors tells Charlie his luck won't hold next time, and swears he'll beat him. Sam flashes his medal in the guy's face and the brothers walk off. That evening, like always, the cannon fires at sunset, and the two of them sit and watch the boats in the harbor, dreaming about the day they sail around the world together. At graduation, Charlie is awarded a scholarship as captain of the rowing team, and the whole place cheers for him. His friend Sully finds him after and says he and Green ship out to the naval base next week and asks Charlie to come to the farewell party. Then comes the cannon again, and the promise. Charlie tells Sam that every day after work, when that cannon fires, he'll spend an hour helping him practice so Sam can make his dream team one day. But there's a condition. Sam can never be late. Every day, on time. Sam agrees, and their ritual begins. That night, their mother gets stuck on an extra shift and asks Charlie to look after his brother. She runs for the bus, and Charlie makes Sam dinner. Then Charlie sneaks out to that farewell party and runs straight into Sam, who wants a ride to a friend's house to watch a baseball game. So they drive. They talk about Charlie leaving town on his scholarship, and Charlie promises he will never abandon him. The banter gets loud and rowdy, and Charlie pulls it back into line the way older brothers do. And then a careless driver behind them takes his eyes off the road. The crash is devastating. When the ambulance arrives, Charlie slips into a vision of Sam, hurt, begging him not to leave. The paramedics shock him, again, and they bring Charlie back. They don't bring Sam back. Charlie is the only one who survives. At the funeral, after the eulogy, they ask for Sam's baseball glove. Charlie won't hand it over. He walks away instead, and then the cannon fires, and he runs into the forest with the crash tearing through his head, and he breaks down completely. And then he looks up. Sam is standing right there, reminding him of the promise. Charlie swears he hasn't forgotten. Every evening when the cannon goes off, he'll be here, 1 hour, every day. 5 years later, Charlie's whole life has narrowed down to one thing. He works at the cemetery where his brother is buried. He chases off a flock of troublesome geese, walks the grounds, and meets up with his coworker Alistair, who jokes that these birds have a personal vendetta against Charlie and are vandalizing the headstones out of spite. He even points out the ringleader. Charlie invites him to his anniversary party, telling him to get out there and meet somebody and break out of his routine, which is a fairly rich thing coming from Charlie. Then a furious young woman comes marching up. Her name is Tess, and she wants the flowers on her father's grave trimmed, and she wants it now. But the second she notices Charlie, her whole tone shifts. She asks politely and leaves. A little later, Charlie unexpectedly runs into Sully, his old friend after all these years. He tells Sully his mother moved to Portland. He tells him Green is buried here now. And Alistair, watching from a distance, realizes something. Charlie is talking to nobody. He's standing beside Sully's headstone. His friends never made it back from the war. And Alistair walks away more convinced than ever that this man is not entirely well. Later, Charlie stops into a store to buy a toy. The girls at the counter fall over themselves flirting with him, and he barely registers it. He pays and leaves. He grabs his glove and his ball, and when the cannon fires, he heads into the forest. They practice. He tells Sam about his day, about running into Sully, about how much it made him miss Green. And he admits that he's grateful for this, getting to see his brother every single day, a secret that belongs only to them. Then the geese show up, and Charlie launches the remote control plane he bought to scare them off, and the geese counterattack, and the brothers end up diving into the river, laughing. Then the hour is up, and Sam isn't beside him anymore, so Charlie walks home alone. The next day, by pure chance, he runs into Florio, the paramedic who shocked him back to life all those years ago. Florio invites him for coffee, and sitting across from him, Charlie can see how frail he's become. Florio is fighting cancer. He's already lived most of his life, and he tells Charlie something he clearly means. Charlie survived that night for a reason. He was given something, and he's wasting it. He needs to change course and stop letting his whole world be a cemetery. Charlie steps outside, and a striking sailboat catches his eye. Reporters are swarming it, covering an upcoming transoceanic race, and the sailor at the center of it is Tess. They're calling her the favorite to win. Then the cannon fires, and Charlie drops everything and runs for the forest to tell his brother about her. Her boat stays in his head. So does the curve of a whale's tail, and he starts sketching a design of his own, then takes it down to the harbor to refine it. There he runs into Alistair, who drags him along to the anniversary party. At the party, Alistair's wife tries to set him up with a woman named Rachel. It goes nowhere. And then Connors walks in. Years later, still Connors, insisting Charlie join them for drinks. Meanwhile, Tess is at that same cafe with her coach and stepfather Tink, going over the weather. Tink tells her conditions are wrong for training. Tess says she needs the practice before the race, and promises she'll steer clear of the storm. Back at the table, Connors keeps pushing drinks on Charlie. Charlie spots Tess and tries to excuse himself. So Connors brings up the crash, and Charlie puts him on the floor and walks out. Later, down at the boats, he finds Tess and apologizes for the scene. They agree Connors is a jerk. And then Tess tells him something he wasn't expecting. She went to high school with him. She's known who he is this entire time. So he shows her the sketch and explains his ideas for improving her boat. She takes a look at the drawing in his notebook. He wishes her luck in the race and leaves. The next day, Tess checks the weather again. Tink tells her again to stay away from that storm. And Tess sails directly into it, because she wants to know what she can handle before the real thing. That evening, Charlie tells Sam about the transoceanic race, says he could win a thing like that easily, but he won't enter, because Sam comes before everything, and he says he has no regrets. Then the rain comes, and the two of them play in the mud like they always have, laughing. Afterward, Charlie chases off the geese and spots Tess nearby. She admits she got caught out in the bad weather and ended up falling asleep beside her father's grave. So he takes her home and cleans up her injuries, and she asks him the question nobody asks. Why did he never go back to sailing after his brother died? He deflects. Another time, he says. She reminds him she'll be gone 6 months for the race, and then she leaves. Charlie does the math against the cannon, hurries after her to invite her to dinner, and makes it into the forest in time. He tells Sam about the date. That evening, over food and drinks, Tess asks him for the sailboat sketch as a gift when she gets back from the race. Charlie leans in to kiss her, and she changes the subject, answering the question he'd asked about her limp. During that storm, she got thrown across the deck. He kisses her anyway, and she pulls back. She can't do this. She can't lose focus. She's gone for 6 months, and she cannot afford to be distracted out there. And she leaves. Then, a minute later, there's a knock at the door. She asks him to find her in the forest. He follows, and in the dark, they find each other, and they spend the night together. He tells her the scars on his chest are from the defibrillator that brought him back. She tells him they're beautiful, and they fall asleep in each other's arms. Charlie wakes up the next morning with a goose curled against him and a note taped to his door asking him to come find her. So he does. And for the first time in 5 years, Charlie St. Cloud steps onto a sailboat and heads out toward open water. At sunset, from the top of the watchtower, Tess reads him a poem, and then she asks him to join her in the race as her backup crew. He says no, and then the cannon fires, and he tells her to get back to the cabin, and he runs. He makes it into the forest just in time to stop his brother from leaving, and Sam confronts him. He says he can feel Charlie's love starting to fade, that without him, he feels empty, invisible. Charlie swears that will never happen. He'll always be right here. And then he realizes Tess is standing behind him. She heard all of it. So he explains the promise. He explains that he cannot abandon his brother. She begs him to walk out of that forest with her. He asks her to go home and forget him. The next day, out walking, Tess notices something impossible. She has no reflection. At that same moment, Charlie is at home with a cup of coffee when a police report comes over the radio. Tess's boat was caught in a storm 3 days ago, and there has been no word since. 3 days. Which means every single moment they spent together, the dinner, the night in the forest, the sailboat, the poem, happened after her boat went down. He panics and runs to launch his own boat and realizes it's already far too late. So instead he goes to her father's grave, and he tells her her boat never came back. She's caught in the same place his brother is. Tess begs him to find her, pleads with him, and Charlie breaks down in tears, and she disappears. Consumed, he goes home and tears his house apart. And when the cannon fires, he drags himself into the forest and tells Sam everything, and his little brother comforts him. Later, while he's cleaning up the wreckage, Florio's wife comes to the door. Her husband has died, and in his final moments, he asked her to bring Charlie his Star of David necklace, because Florio believed Charlie was chosen, that he was kept alive to save somebody else. And as Charlie turns the necklace over in his hands, he finds something on it. Tess's handwriting. She's alive. She is out there right now, and he has almost no time left. He goes to Tink and begs to use his ship to search for her. Tink refuses and calls him a madman. So when Tink leaves to run errands, Charlie steals the boat with Alistair's help. Tink comes flying back and leaps aboard, furious, and Alistair physically holds him off. Then he listens. He hears Charlie explain where she might be, and against everything he believes, he decides to trust him. 16 hours at sea, and Tink tells Charlie to rest. Charlie goes to the stern. The sun starts to go down, and the cannon fires, and Sam realizes, standing in that forest, that his brother isn't coming tonight. Charlie apologizes to him, tells him they will always be brothers, and Sam smiles. He says goodbye, and he chooses to leave. He dissolves into light, at peace finally, after 5 years. Then a comet cuts across the sky, a sign from a brother who just let him go. Charlie follows the trail, and it leads them to wreckage, pieces of Tess's boat scattered on the water. Alistair screams at him about the cold, about the weather, about what those waters will do to a man. Charlie dives in anyway. He swims through the shattered hull, gets battered against the rocks, and forces his way into a cave, and he finds her. He pulls Tess into his arms and drags her back from the edge of it, and both of them live. At the hospital, Alistair relays what the doctors said. She was saved. Sometime later, Charlie sails his old boat over to Tess's home. They talk about her recovery, and he asks her to come back out on the water with him. She hesitates, because while she was lost out there, she had dreams, vivid ones, dreams about him that felt more real than waking life ever has. And Charlie tells her they weren't dreams, they were memories. And to prove it, he recites the poem she read to him from the top of the watchtower, the words she never told a living soul. And with tears in her eyes, she realizes he's telling the truth. So she says yes, and the two of them set sail together, out toward the oceans he once promised his little brother he'd see. So here's what stayed with me. Charlie kept a promise for 5 years that cost him his future, his friends, and very nearly his mind. Was that love, or was it a man refusing to let his brother die? And when Sam finally let him go, was that Sam being freed, or Charlie finally freeing himself? Drop your take in the comments, because I want to hear how you read that ending. And if this one got you, that next story is already sitting right there on your screen, waiting.